Hey guys, Sophia here from My Great Challenge. Welcome back to my channel. I have tried to look halfway decent today. You can probably hear it from my voice. Yeah, I got COVID. So I'm going to dive into that first because I know that there's questions, and then I'm going to do a Q&A. With a life update. Actually, I looked on the channel and it seems that the last life update was almost exactly a year ago. So we do for an update. Thank you for those of you who've sent me well wishes, and thank you for those of you who asked questions both on Instagram and Facebook. Lots of tough questions. Some of them I'll answer, some of them I'll just plain ignore. You know, it's always the same thing. Like, you try to do something that's open, and there's always like the few people who ask questions are just so borderline insulting, and so they all deleted by now. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what motivates people. So hopefully I'm able to do the whole thing, and hopefully I can string coherent thoughts together today. But I am drinking my vitamin C, and I'm going to address that right away, so we get it out of the way, because I know. Okay, I'm going to try to be nice because some people are just not nice. Okay, I've said in my last video. Sorry, I had to cough. I said in my last video that I wasn't feeling well, and to me it was very obvious. I mean, you could see like I was getting like all red. and no joke, I was literally going on my bed every 15 minutes. But I kind of knew what was going on. But I got in some messages and comments that I've since deleted about people. I'm not going to say that they were glad that I got the virus, because that'd be real messed up. If you are, then you messed up, okay? But they kind of like blame me for it, like, because I'm going out, okay? We're not in lockdown anymore. We go to work. People go to the supermarket and they go out and they buy things, like, okay? But that's just not cool, all right? So since everybody seems to be interested in finding out how I got it, I'm gonna tell you how I got it. I got it because I was being a mother. Willie got COVID 3 weeks ago. He got it probably from a friend of his at school. It's pretty high at school right now, and Willie is super careful. He wears his mask all the time. He washes hands. He keeps his distancing. But a friend of his had a family member who was sick, brought it to school, kids got sick, and Willie got sick. And I did what every mother would do. I took care of him. So Willie was home for an entire week, and I was the only one caring for him. I made the decision knowing that I would expose myself. So he had fevers, he had vomiting. His first 3 days were pretty rough, but you know, he wanted his mommy to take care of him, so I took care of him. Made him special meals. He couldn't keep anything done for the first 3 days. It was really rough, but he had the fever, no coughing, but it was mostly fever and vomiting for him. But then after the 4th day he was fine, and we had like a period of about maybe 5-6 days where he was not symptomatic and I wasn't symptomatic. And then I went to take the test to report back to work, because they had put me remote that week, and told me you need a test to get back. So fine. So I took the test and mine was detected. So that's how I got COVID, by taking care of my son, not because I went to Goodwill. I just got to add, you know, this little piece, because some people are just like, okay, anyway. So I ended up having COVID, and I ended up having another week of remote work. I am very fortunate that my employer allows us to work remotely when we are exposed, either through work or through family. 99% of what I do, I can do remotely. Thank God for Microsoft Teams and Zoom. So that's how I do my interactions. And my clinical stuff is via Zoom and Microsoft Teams. So anyway, am I doing better? Yes. Mine was a totally different experience from Willie. First of all, I gotta be honest, I don't get nauseous ever. Like ever. I wasn't even nauseous when I had my pregnancies. I don't know what morning sickness is. It takes like some major stuff for me to feel nauseous, and that wasn't it. But mine was body aches. So the first day after I tested positive, it felt like I had waken up 2 days after a major car accident. Like every bone and joint in my body was swollen and hurt. So that lasted 24 hours. So now we're in Tuesday, and then coming on Wednesday, it was the sinus headache, migraine that lasted 2 days, and I could not get rid of it. I took so many meds. I was like this the whole time. And now the sinuses finally opened up, so now I have the stuffy nose and a little bit of the sore throat. Not much coughing, but a little bit of the sore throat from the post-nasal drip. So I'm gonna go test again today. It's probably gonna be positive. I don't know if work is gonna let me go back in. We'll see. But here's my story. All right, that's how I got COVID. So let's move into the Q&A. And just to let you know, these Q&As are actually very difficult to do because you really do feel exposed. And the fear of judgment is still very strong in this girl, even though I've been doing this for 10 years. Because people assume a whole bunch of stuff. They read in between lines. They look at your body language to see if you're lying. Like, come on, you know. It's just, I'm not that important. I'm just spending time with you. You know, being a human being with all my flaws, which I've no problem sharing over the years. You've seen plenty of that. So let's get going. Brenda asked, what is the projected timeline for your mom arriving in the state? Will you be able to take some time off to help us settle in? Okay, so I did fight with mom for years. I mean, I've been here 30 years, okay? It's been pretty much 30 years that I'm fighting with mom to let me apply for her green card, for her to move in. There was always a reason why she couldn't do it. You know, and I get it. It's a big move, especially at her age. It wasn't an easy move for me when I was 22. I can only imagine at 80 what kind of move it is. Mom is, mom's 85. Oh, 84. 22. 85. Mom is 85. Okay, so she finally agreed. So I applied for a green card. So there's no actual timeline. It's based on visa availability. So the process, I'm gonna go through the process real quick. I don't want this video to be 2 hours. And I know I'm not gonna go through all the questions. I get that. I apologize if I skip you. So the process is that you apply in this country for a alien visa, and then they send that to the country of request, would be France, and then every year the United States issue a certain number of visas for that particular country. Some countries get more visas than others. Right now the visas are focused on all of the countries that have conflicts, political refugees, all of that. So, you know, Ukraine, Syria, all of those countries usually have the highest number of visas. France, not so much. You know, so once a visa is available, then they'll contact her and she has to do a paperwork there. And once she does the paperwork, she gets a temporary green card that's valid for 2 years. And then after 2 years, they give her a permanent residency. So I don't know what the timeline is. It takes, I would say, up to 1 year for that visa to be made available. And is mom moving in? I don't know. I would like for her to. I would like to be the one taking care of mom, you know, for end of life care. I hate to think about it. Not that I hate to think about me taking care of her, but I hate to think about that stage in our relationship and my mom. See, I'm getting emotional. It's difficult, and I don't think that a lot of people understand that, you know, you make your choices, and sometimes some of us make choices like moving across the country, but I moved across the ocean, and when you make that decision at the age of 22, the inevitable is not on your mind. It's not something that you think about because you don't see your parents aging. And then it's once you start thinking about your own mortality that you like connect the dot. You're like, oh, mom, yeah, I don't know how many more years mom has. So hopefully another 15 to 20 would be great. But yeah, I would like for her to move here. And if she does, we have options. One of the options is to expand the house, get rid of the deck and expand the house where the deck is, or build a studio apartment with an extension out of the one side of the garage, or mom buying, you know, or renting something. So there's plenty of options, but in all honesty, I don't think she's going to do it. You know, it's too much of a culture shock for her at this point, but I can dream, I guess. So that was the question. What's the timeline? Okay, let's take a break and I'll move on to question number 2. All right, I'm back. Angela asked, following your diagnosis of autoimmune disorder, how have you been coping with all it entails, both for your personal and professional life, and what have you been doing to maintain a good mental and emotional balance for all of this? That's a good question. Okay, so if you've been around, you know I was really sick back in October and November of last year, which propelled me to go see specialists and kick my regular doctor to the curb and find a different doctor. Second opinion, guys, second opinions, okay? They matter. But that also propelled me to change jobs. I was just ran down. I was so beat. I was burnt out, and I was physically, emotionally, completely wiped. And it took every fiber of my being to continue doing YouTube videos during that time. And I think in hindsight, if you start looking at those videos, you probably see that I'm just not myself. Kind of like I'm not myself right now. But it was a different thing. I was just like so tired. So I got diagnosed with arthritis and psoriasis. It's not psoriatic arthritis, and it's not rheumatoid arthritis. I want to be clear because some people think that this is what I said. I didn't say rheumatoid arthritis. It showed the markers for it on my blood test when he did the whole hormone panels, but that's not what I have. So I have psoriasis, scalp psoriasis, and arthritis. So I looked into options, and I looked into AIP, which is autoimmune protocol, and I will do a video on that. I promise. I have a planner that I need to review, but I have to explain the whole process. The problem and the hesitancy that I have in doing that is that as soon as you do a video about anything that is medical or mental health related, it's like everybody becomes an expert, and you get bombarded with there's 2 types of comments. Well, you get bombarded with a bunch of comments that are really uncalled for, that are totally inaccurate. People who try to sell their own products, people who tell you what they're doing, even though you're not telling them what they're doing is bad. You're just telling them, this is what I'm doing. Now, you're not doing it right. This is what you should do. It becomes like it opens a whole can of worms. That's the problem with those videos. And I'm really hesitant doing it because, quite frankly, some people just can't behave. Okay, so has it changed my life, the diagnosis? Yes. it's opened up a whole new perspective about our purpose in life and what are we here for, and when things don't go well, what are your options. And I am not one to be defeated, you know that. I will tackle things heads on. Even if I fail, I don't care, I'll try it anyway. So I tried the AIP diet. It went totally on the side, like kaput, as I am battling COVID. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't be in the kitchen and start, you know, making like special meals for myself when I wasn't feeling well. So I think I can get a pass on that. But it's very difficult to adjust. And yes, I do miss a lot of the foods. I miss bread, I miss butter, I miss coffee, but I manage. And I think part of it is the mindset. Like once you decide this is what you're going to do, then what you're missing is not an omnipresence. Like you're not spending your time grieving the foods you can no longer have. And I have to say it did make a major difference in my joints and in my psoriasis. Is it completely healed? No, but it definitely did alleviate some of the symptoms. So that's the physical. Emotionally, because it worked, it's helped me deal with the diagnosis and kind of realize that it is realizing that it is manageable through food. So I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not an expert on the subject. I'm just sharing with you my personal experience of how I've dealt with it and how that particular system of eating has improved and relieved a lot of my symptoms. Take it or leave it. Please don't attack me for it. And I hope you understand why I'm hesitating about doing that video. Because I think I did something years ago. It had to be a diet video, and oh my God. It's like you end up being like the comment police for like a whole week and a half. Like I got other things to do, but anyway. Next one was from Michelle. How do I feel? How did it feel to fully pull up the green carpet? And when thrift shopping, what do you notice most? Okay, the green carpet was a long time coming, and it's made a huge difference in my breathing. Well, you can't really tell right now, but it's made a huge difference in my breathing and the feel of the room. Like the room, even though the carpet is gone, feels warmer. And I'm not talking about the actual temperature. It just feels like a room. It doesn't feel like an afterthought, you know, extra space. I don't know if that makes sense. Granted, I have everything almost done, but yeah, it was great. It was tough though, and I think the video really conveyed how difficult it was. And that's the thing with YouTube, like we edit so much out of the videos that sometimes like the real grit that goes into a project doesn't show, because you got to expedite the whole process. Like people want to see the before and the after, they don't necessarily care for the in between, and it's like that for any project. But man, it was tough, and it was like 90 degrees in there when we did it. So it was very liberating, I guess, as what one would expect. And then your other question, Michelle, was what do I look for? What do I see when I'm thrifting? Well, I gotta tell you, the thrifting now is becoming more and more difficult. There's less and less vintage stuff for various reasons. Part of it is the times when I can go. The people who do that for a living, like the pickers and the resellers, they go anytime they want. A lot of them don't work. That's their job. So all of the good stuff is gone by the time I actually show up. All right? But what I'm seeing now a lot at the thrift store is all of the Target stuff, all of the Walmart stuff, like the, I don't know, the theme ceramic, you know, the unicorn stuff, like all of the stuff that was like really big and a fad 2 years ago, finds its way at Goodwill now. But in terms of the vintage stuff, it's very little. Lots of Dollar Tree stuff. I mean, Goodwill is really got down over the years, and as they go down, the prices go up. I think I'm done with Goodwill. I really rarely find anything good at Goodwill, or if I do, it's always chipped, or it's mismatched, or it's missing something, or it's broken. It's yeah, Goodwill. Somebody needs to take over Goodwill and bring it back to where it used to be. So, oh, another one from Angela. Is this the same Angela? No, it's a different Angela. I like that name, Angela. Angela asks, I know you've said that you will never talk about your job. Yes, I will never talk about my job, but that seems to be a common question we all have. And that's the only thing. Okay, I cannot talk about my job. It's not that I don't want to. I cannot legally talk about my job. And in order for me to make sure that there is no conflict of interest, there has to be a clear separation between what I do in my personal life and what I do in my professional life. And that's it. That's all you need to know. But that being said, you can see that I'm feeling much better. The position itself is everything I ever wanted. This is something that I've wanted for a very long time, and I'm very happy to have this position, and I will retire from this position. And I know there were some questions about retirement. Let's take a break. Be right back. So there's questions about retirement. Do I think about retirement? Yes. How many more years do I have to retire? 14. I counted. I'm retiring in 14 years. What is the plan? Well, sure. The mortgage won't be paid off in 14 years. We got another 19. We got another 19 on the mortgage. So what do I have? Do I have plans? Of course I have plans. My plans is to garden and quilt and travel, do all the things that we haven't been able to do because of finances. You know, I know that for a lot of people, they see my house and they see where I live, and you all think that there is money. There's none. We don't really have a lot. And right now we're one income, and we've been a one income for 3 years, and it's becoming very difficult, to be honest. So retirement is something that I'm really looking forward to, because I am the one, you know, that who works, and I'm the one who has the YouTube and the Etsy shop, and I'm getting tired. I'm no spring chicken anymore. I'm getting tired, guys. So I am thinking about retirement, and I do fantasize about the things that I'm going to do when I retire. Are we going to stay here? I don't know. New Jersey is a very difficult state to live in for various reasons. For the most part, the density of it is where my biggest issue is. I'm not a city girl anymore. I don't think I ever was. But there's just too much traffic. There's too much of everything. Too many malls, too many shops, the paradox of choice, too much of everything. It's noisy, it's polluted, it's loud, it's a great state on many levels. But do I want to retire in New Jersey? I don't know. Ideally, what I would like is take my pension and buy, sell this and buy maybe an old farm somewhere, Wyoming, Utah, Dakota, one of those states, and just live the rest of my life, you know, with goats and chicken. That's what I want to do. Scott, not so much, but we'll see. So that's the story about retirement. Do I fantasize about it? Yes, and I'm telling you, I'm counting the days, 14 years, okay? Actually a little bit more, over. Okay, what is your dream vacation? Japan. That's Japan. Japan, China, all of the Asian. I love to go to South Korea, but anything Asian. Thailand, Cambodia, Tibet. I would love to go to Tibet. But on top of the list would be Japan and South Korea. Yeah, somebody says she can't, Patty says she can't retire. She lives in New Jersey. You're onto something here, Patty. Does the family still hang out in the basement? Yeah, the boys do. My next big project, okay. I'm not done with this, okay? And there's a delay in purchasing the wood because we don't have the funds. Yeah, I'm like regular people. I'm not one of those influencers on Instagram and YouTube who showcase $1 million home with everything brand new and oh, I know my bathroom was just renovated 2 years ago, but I just don't like it anymore, so I'm gonna do something completely different. Here's $50,000. Okay, so it's gonna have to wait for the wood. Probably another month, if not 2 months. But my next project, I have a company who sent me a fire pit. So I'm going to do in the backyard, I'm going to do like a mini, like a square brick patio just for that barbecue. Because I don't know if I want to commit to having a fire pit in the backyard. So I'm not going to do like a major patio brick thing and then I don't care for the fire pit and I'm stuck with it. So I'm going to do like something about this big, like a 3x3 with bricks. And so that's my next project. I have a elevated garden bed that another company is sending me. I haven't received it yet, so I have to do that. I have to paint the railings, the fencing in the yard in green. I bought the paint last year. We never got a chance doing it. What else do I have for big projects? I mean, I'd love to do the vanity, but again, I just don't have the funds, guys. And I don't think that people realize that when you want income, YouTube right now is really, really not good. It's the same amount of views than before, but the advertising level is almost half of what it used to be. And so I don't even know why I'm telling you that. Okay, so here we go. I'm starting to not sound coherent. Let me get something to drink. Right, so one of the things you need to understand, and it's like, there was a question actually, Denise in next town over. Denise asked me what's the best and the worst part of YouTube. The best part of YouTube is the connecting with people. Some of them I'm calling my friends at this point because we've been connecting for 10 years, if not more. And we deeply care about each other. We know what's going on. I know what's going on with their private life. They know what's going on with my private life. So there are a few people you connect with and you end up creating a relationship with them outside of YouTube. And that's the great part. The worst part of YouTube is the moderation of the comments. You guys have no idea what goes on in the moderation of comments between the porn stuff. That's usually the first 2 hours. And all of those I have to delete. So when I post a video, I have to be on my phone like a hawk so that you guys don't get exposed to that. And then there's the judgment, the misunderstandings, people who are just flat out rude, people who are just flat out insulting. There's the and then there's, to me right now, but only because of our financial situation, people who and I know it comes from the heart to offer advice like, why don't you do this and why don't you do that? Well, it costs money that I don't have. You know, and it's not that yeah, it's a great idea, but it's an idea that's going to cost me $10,000. I don't have it, guys. Okay, I just don't have it. So it becomes difficult to communicate that without sounding like you're asking for something. I don't know if that makes sense, right? Because YouTube is a business, and people forget that. It's like, I'm not doing this for free. I get paid by YouTube to do videos. Like this video, every time you see a commercial, I get paid for it. This is how I paid for half of my mortgage, through YouTube. It's a business. I need to consider it a business. And as soon as you do something that is promoting that as a business, people immediately call you grifters. Like, it's a business. You don't tell any business that. Like if, I don't know, Subway does advertisement for the sandwiches, you'll call them grifters, right? They're advertising for the business. So this is the worst part for me, for YouTube, is to find the right balance where you are a business, but you don't sound and impose it as a business. So it's a very fine line between being relatable as a YouTube content creator, connecting with people, and then reminding them though, oh yeah, by the way, this is a business, because people get turned off by that, and I get it, but this is all I got right now outside of my employment. So I have to, which is going to bring me on the subject of Patreon. Yeah, we're going to segue into that. But I have to be more business-like. Something that I think I failed in the past 2 or 3 years, only because I've been exhausted. So, subject of Patreon, because that connects. See how I'm segueing to that? That connects with the worst part of YouTube. YouTube has become very difficult. Financially, it's almost not worthy anymore, because the advertisement level has changed, and I don't know what's going on with YouTube, and I think they're losing a lot to Patreon and Rumble and all of that. And those advertisers are, you know, seeing it. I'm not sure what's going on, but anybody who's been on YouTube for a long time will tell you the same thing, that right now on YouTube we're making half of what we used to make, for the same amount of work and the same level of viewership, which is, it's very heartbreaking, because it's a lot of work that goes into YouTube. It's not just plopping a camera and filming. You got to think about what you're going to say, think about what you're going to film. You got to look presentable, even though I fail most of the time on that account. But then you got to edit and add music, and you got to render, and then you got to do the thumbnail, and then you got to moderate all the comments, and then back to doing it the next weekend. And that's been my life for a very long time now, that I go to work during the week, and on the weekend this is what I'm doing. I'm filming for YouTube. So I haven't had a real weekend in a long time. And it starts to weigh on you after a while, like, why am I continuing to do this for half of the benefits? I don't know if that makes sense. So I've been thinking about opening a Patreon, and moving some of my more specific dedicated content, like all of the quilting and all of the thrifting, to Patreon, but also doing exclusive videos for Patreon only, and weekly updates, but stuff that is like on a much more personal level, and keep YouTube for the home organization, the projects, things like that, but do the Patreon with a totally different type of content. So I'm thinking of doing that. Comment down below, let me know what you think. So the worst part of YouTube is that is dealing with the negativity and the judgment, and some of the comments, and people who clearly don't understand what it takes to do YouTube. Like they think, you know, it's easy. It's not. It really is not. It's a job, you know, and you got to consider it a job. This is not a hobby. Well, at least for me, it's not a hobby because we survive on it. So anyway, so that's the worst part. The greatest part, again, is the connection. I wouldn't trade that. And no, I'm not, if I open a Patreon, there's still gonna be a YouTube. I'm not abandoning you, okay? Okay, let's see. All right, break, next question. Next question was if I have any plans to go back to France. I would love to. Again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I don't have it. I just don't have it. Definitely not for one. I don't have it for one. I definitely don't have it for 4. So it's not happening. It's tough, you know, and I think that keeping up with appearances, it's becoming more and more difficult. You know, but it is what it is. Scott is applying for jobs like every single day. Like the 2 weeks I had to stay remote, he had something like 4 interviews. Some of them were second and third interviews, and still they don't hire him. And so keep us in your prayers because we need it right now. He's it's been very difficult for him. It's been very difficult. Because at some point you start really feeling rejected, you know, and I get it. But no, there's no plan of going to France anytime soon. Mom might stop by in September, we'll see. But there's no, somebody also asked, do I plan on taking a vacation? No, no vacation. Okay, so that was the Q&A. Life update. I'm feeling better. I'm going back to work tomorrow. I have to take my test this afternoon. It's probably going to be positive, but that's expected. You know, I wear masks and all of that at work, so that's fine. Edward is a 4.0 at Seton Hall, and he took a job. And he took a job as a math tutor over the summer, and he's going to move into the dorms next week. Actually, I may do a video on that if you want to see the dorms at Seton Hall. If you have a student, upcoming student, you might be interested in that. So he's moving in next Sunday, and he's going to be there all summer. And he's housed for free, and he's fed while getting paid to be a math tutor. So how about that? I'm very proud of him, and he's an amazing kid, absolutely amazing kid. Super annoying with his math because that's all he talks about, but an amazing kid nonetheless. Willie's doing great, much better. He's got band all summer. It's actually going to be interesting this year for marching band because a lot of seniors, of course, left, and they are stuck with 17 flutes this year for marching band. So I don't know how marching band is going to sound with 17 flutes on the field. We'll see. Hopefully some of them can transition to trumpet. We'll see. I doubt it, but anyway. 4.0, doing great. Entering 9th grade in September. So that's what's going on. Kat is doing great. She's spending a life indoor, outdoor. She still sleeps in the little TV at night, or we keep her out of the bedroom. She has a tendency to wake us up around 4 o'clock in the morning. The dogs are slowing down. My Electra is obviously having joint problems. in her right shoulder. So she's slowing down with the walking. She still can climb stairs. She still can climb on the sofa, but you have to assist her a little bit when she gets off the sofa, because you know, she's an animal. She doesn't know she's got to use the good arm. You know, she just jumps. So you got to kind of like lift her a little bit. Le Chiffre, what am I gonna say? He's deformed. His lipoma has become like he has these fat pockets that could be drained, but they will come back. So he's got like one here, one here. He is the poor poor dog. It's genetic. There's really nothing I can do about it. Sometimes, depending on how he's positioned, you can see the skinny dog in him, but then he shifts and it's just poor guy. But he's nowhere near slowing down, this one. Electra is going on 12 years and Le Chiffre is going on 11 years. So that's what's going on. Work is fine. I'm fine. You know, I'm hanging in there. I'm seriously thinking about the Patreon. Actually, I created it already. I just didn't launch it. I just wanted to throw it out there as part of the life update to tell you this is where I'm going. And the only reason really why I'm doing this is to do a different type of content that I do not want out in the public, only because of all of the reasons I've told you with regards to people just being mean, okay, just being like horrible people. I'm sorry if I just don't get it. Like, you know, I'm on social media all day when you know, when I got nothing to do. This is what I do. I browse social media. If I see something I don't like, I click off. I don't go out of my way to try to communicate or contact the person to let them know how garbage I think the content is. Like, what I gain nothing from that, you know. But anyway, I get it. People get frustrated sometimes, but some of that frustration gets sent back. And after 11 years that I've been on YouTube now, it's starting to really weigh me down. I'm just like, sometimes I feel like it doesn't matter. It's like a catch-22. For every video is a catch-22 almost. So I'm thinking of doing Patreon for the very clear reason that I need an income. I need a larger income than what YouTube is offering right now. But to make it appealing, because I understand, yeah, it's your money, to do a different type of content. Lots of live, lots of conversations, lots of exclusive content that eventually would find their way on YouTube, but not like 2 days later, more like 2-3 months later. So have a catalog on Patreon that eventually gets moved back to YouTube, but way later, because I don't see the point of that. Anyway, and then obviously all the quilting and the thrifting would be moved there. So that's it. That's the life update. I'm doing okay. I mean, I'm hanging in there physically. I don't look great, but I think I sound okay. I'm definitely feeling better than what I did last week. And how am I dealing with it? I have Mucinex. I take Mucinex, I take vitamin C, I take vitamin D, I take zinc. I go in the sun about an hour every day to tend to my roses, and rest. That's it. I've been on Instagram so much that Instagram is sending me periodic little request timeout Like you can, like Instagram is telling me, girl, you've been on Instagram way too much this week. Do you need a timeout? One more question if there's another one, because I know that some people probably ask. So let me see. I'll do one more. So tell me about the Patreon. Tell me down below what you think. Oh, I'm going to Normandy for vacation. That's from Patricia. What should I visit no matter what? And she's doing RV. Okay. Patricia, I don't know anything about the RV community, but I know that it's big in France. So there's definitely going to be a lot of RV park. Depending on where you are in Normandy, it's pretty big. I would absolutely go to the Mont Saint-Michel. You're gonna have to see the landing beaches. But if I were you, if you want to see Giverny, I think it's a letdown personally. But if you're gonna go towards Paris a little bit, try to visit Vaux-le-Vicomte. I'll put a picture right here and the name. It's actually a very interesting place. This is the castle that was built by Louis XIV's Minister of Finances. And at the time, Louis XIV was still living in the Louvre. And he went to an event at his Minister of Finance's residence outside of Paris, Vaux-le-Vicomte, and was in absolute shock that his Minister of Finances actually had a grander palace to live in than the Louvre. And he got jealous and upset and decided to build Versailles as a result. So that's the castle that inspired Versailles. He used the same architects, he used the same garden. Who's the guy who did the garden? I think it's Toussaint Le Nôtre. I forgot the name. It's all a blur after a while, but definitely go see that. And then do a cruise around the river, the Seine River, and then you have to go to Honfleur. It's all in my videos. So go back to my videos on Normandy and you'll see it. So you have to see Honfleur, you have to see the Mont Saint-Michel, the landing beaches, Vaux-le-Vicomte, Giverny if you get time, and then try to do something medieval. Probably go to the Bayeux Tapestry and visit Bayeux, and then one of the cathedrals. The one in Rouen is beautiful, but it's under construction or renovation right now, so you're really not going to get much out of it because it's all tarped up and scaffolded up and all of that. So yeah, Rouen right now is no good. Everything is under repair. So that's about it. Is there anything else? I think I covered most of the questions I was willing to answer. Because some of them, do I think of moving to Florida? No. I don't like tropical. I would rather move to the mountain. Yeah, a lot of questions about the job. Guys, I can't talk about my job. Sorry. And I think it's better that way anyway. It keeps an aura of mystery. Whatever. I hope you enjoyed this video. I decided to do this video today because I'm still recuperating from being sick, and I didn't want to do anything physical. So I hope you understand. I hope this was interesting. I hope I didn't rant too much. I'm really serious about the Patreon, I'm telling you. And no, it's not abandoning guys. It's going to be in addition. And no, I'm not a grifter. I am supporting my family. But I guess some people are always going to have to put the worst attributes on you no matter what. It doesn't, it is what it is. Can't make everybody happy, I guess. I'm going to quilt this afternoon, and then hopefully by next week I'll be in better shape. I'll do that fire pit thing, and then the garden container if I receive it on time. And again the bedroom, the floor, it's gonna have to wait. I have to wait for some Etsy funds to come in to pay for it. So yeah. That's it. I have nothing else. That's all I have. I hope you enjoyed this chit chat. Comment down below. Let me know how you feel about my idea of doing a Patreon with totally different content. And that would be it. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for watching. Bye. Hey, it's me, and guess what? Click that thumbs up if you really like this video. Thumbs down twice if you didn't. You can also share my video if you really liked it, or save it to watch later. Also, you can subscribe to my channel, but don't forget to click that bell button so you are always notified when I post a new video. Thank you for watching.